We know what you're here for, and of course we're going to talk about it, but first let's take a quick dive into this week's most anticipated new releases, as well as some lesser known titles that you may not know that you can play right now.
And of course we got all the info on the Nintendo Switch 2, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about all this stuff right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. You can find us on YouTube and podcast services everywhere. My name is E-Rock the Red, and as always, I am joined by this man, Mr. Full Clip. What's up, dude?
Not much, you?
Nothing. Nothing at all. I'm just excited to be here talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm fired up. Dude, I got 3 drinks today. I got a cold can of coffee, I got a hot cup of coffee, and I got some sparkling water.
But you're
because
ready.
I expect to just not talk, non-stop talking.
Yeah,
all
no matter
day.
What the elements give you, you've got cold, you've got hot, you're ready to respond. Well, so we're going to have to get into that Switch 2 news, and that's going to be the biggest part of the show. But we've got some other big happenings in the video game industry to talk about first. Did you see the Minecraft movie that just released?
Oh, dude, I did want to talk about this. I have not watched it. Did you see it?
I didn't, not yet. I'm
Okay.
debating going to the theater to see it.
Yeah. I heard that it is so bad. But my son is off from school next week, so I'm planning on taking a day off, and we're going to go see it next week because, you know, it's for him, I think it's going to be exactly what he wants.
Yeah, I'm more interested in
all
his
the
opinion,
adults.
really.
Yes, yeah, every reviewer I see, they're like, dude, this was so bad. But they said the same thing about Mario. So, and that I enjoyed. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more of a Mario fan than a Minecraft fan, so you know, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm like excited, but also nervous because of how poorly it's getting reviewed. So yeah, I don't know. I heard that like a lot of it is just like, just Jack Black saying Minecraft terms and everybody cheering.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in that, and what is Jason Momoa's character looks kind of strange.
Yeah.
So, finding it out.
I don't know. Yeah, I will report back once I go see it next week. But yeah, I'm nervous. You been doing anything fun? Playing any games?
Yeah, I tried one that we talked about last week, free on Game Pass, or, you know, not free, but with a Game Pass subscription, Atomfall. So, I got into about an hour of it at first, and it was definitely not wowing me. I mean, it's interesting. It wasn't the Fallout at Home that I was expecting it to be. Not quite. It's more like maybe like a Far Cry game or something. And I found myself having a hard time wanting to go back to it, but I did get back into it last night for at least another hour and a half, and I found it much more enjoyable for that second hour and a half. I started finding more ammunition. I could start holding my own against the enemies. I've kind of found that it's going to be small. I see why it's a small game, because you're in a very small map compared to like an open world title. I do wonder how much meat is on the bones, if it's only supposed to be like 9 hours for the main storyline and everything, and maybe you're like 11 for a completionist run through. So I'm not sure it's a game that you're going to live in forever, like a Fallout type of situation with the open world and just endless stuff to do. But I think it's cool to check out. I see long term, like, there's a system with these enemies coming around where there's just kind of roaming around the map. So even in an area where you've already cleared everybody out, you never know that you're entirely safe. So you're like getting scraps and doing different things around the map, fulfilling your objectives, and you never know when something might pop off because of that. And I think that's a pretty interesting way for them to do that in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Are you finding it more like of a survival game, kind of like a, I don't know, like a Rust or something like that? Is it you got to get like resources and stuff like that, or is it more just an action game?
You do need to get resources because you're crafting some of your bandages, you're crafting your Molotov cocktails and sticky grenades and stuff like that. So to stay in the fight, you do have to craft a lot, find a lot of things to make those, and the survival aspect, it's not so much like I better make sure I'm drinking this water so my water stat is full, but it is in a survival aspect of like I need to stay hidden in these bushes until these people pass, because if I aggro one of them, then 20 more might come and swarm me and I'm dead.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, cool. I still have it downloaded again. Like I said, I booted it up the one day I played 5 minutes before my son was like losing it. So it's like I'm going to get to it. I've been playing RoboCop on the PlayStation, which I'm enjoying. I think I mentioned it last week. So once I finish that, if I got time, I would like to check out Atomfall. But I don't know. Next week, this has been a nice week off as far as like big games coming out. But next week is stacked. Yeah, I find that when there's not many new games coming out, I always go back to whatever the latest or greatest sim game is. And let me tell you something. I got another one to talk about. Pub Sim, dude, came out of early access at the end of March, and you gotta run a bar, and it is exactly like all of the others, and it is weird and janky and hard to control, but it's really, really interesting, especially for like fans of beer and liquor, because they have all of like not the actual brands, but it's like the label looks identical, but the name is like, instead of like Carlsberg, it's like Coralsberg, or like it's like Bub Light or something like that. And it is so interesting. So you got to you open this tiny little crappy pub, you got 3 taps, and you just got to pour people beer and take their money and make it look real nice. So I got into that, dude, and it is fine.
Oh yeah. Just okay.
Yeah, it is just okay. It's tiding me over until what's the next one I want? There's like a haunted house renovator game coming out that I really want to get.
Really?
You have to like exorcise demons and fix up the house real nice. So that's like the best of both worlds. That comes out, I think, either, I don't know if it has a release date. There's a demo or something coming out. So yeah, that's going to be the next one. But yeah, Pub, like if you're a fan of bars and simulators, Pub Sim, I think it's like, I don't know, $10. And it's worth the time, the money.
Yeah, I can get into that. If they get the framework of it into a solid place where it's not so janky, that sounds like a really cool game for modding and putting in like your own brands, or maybe even swapping in real life brands into it.
Absolutely, you're right. That would be great. It's just like so many of the menus and like everything about these games, and like this was in early access, but then you like go do it, and it's just like nothing really seems like perfect. Like this has controller support, but also like every once in a while it'll say like hit tab or press the E key, and I'm just like, what? Make up your mind.
Yeah.
Like you can't like, and then it says hit the right trigger to pour the beer, and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. So yeah, it's weird that it's out of early access and still as like wacky as it is. But the support from the devs, they're on Discord all the time, like talking about what things to add and make it better, and I like that. So I will definitely support Pub Sim and keep playing it. I did get into a few more games, but I'm going to talk about them in our new releases. So shall we move it along?
Let's do it.
All right, these are our new releases from this past week. All right, first up, the biggest one The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Again, like, this is how slow this week was for games, dude. The biggest one is a old game that has now just been ported over to PC. This came out on April 3rd. It's the winner of over 30 Game of the Year awards. It's got graphical improvements, HDR support, ultra wide support, all the things you want for your PC. It's got the DLC, the No Return. It's like their roguelike survival mode that they added on. That's included in it as well. And this one, what I like, and maybe, I don't know if this is it for all of them, but the PlayStation, it used to be you had to have a PlayStation account. This one, it's you don't have to. It's not mandatory. But if you do add it, they throw in some extra like skins and stuff like that. So it's an interesting way to do it. I like that kind of, because we saw the upheaval when they tried to do that for, what was it, Helldivers, I think?
Yeah.
People lost their minds. So, it's interesting. Is this the time where you finally get into The Last of Us?
Let me check out this new season of the show, and then maybe that'll make me want to get into this.
Coming soon. Very soon. Like April 12th or something, right?
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, that, finally played on your PC. Get in there, kill things. All right, and then the next two games, very indie games that I wanted to talk about because I was playing them this week, and they also came out this week. So they're new releases. See how I fit them in there? Bam!
Very nice.
This is my show. I get to do what I want. The first one is this game called Vindefiant, and it came out on April 4th, and it is I think it's like a one-man dev team. Like, it's like a small thing, but the premise is, and it's really cool, is that you play as, so it's like it's a puzzle platformer that's like a pixel art game. It's really like old school, but you play as a guy who got fired from his job, and you become like a villain. You get like the powers, kind of like a Venom symbiote type thing, and you just want to kill everybody. So you just go through these games, and you use your, like, it's kind of like also like Dr. Octopus, where you have like these arms that can grab things everywhere. So you use your arms to grab people and like throw them through walls and into fans and against the wall. And it is very like gory, like pixely, like gory, but so satisfying. But then, like, as you, like, you're playing as this symbiote thing, and then there's like, puzzle type things, how to get to the next area, turning things on and off, traversing through areas that you might get killed, that sort of thing. So it's not, you're not just running through killing everything, and it's fun. I mean, I'm really enjoying it, and it's, again, I don't think it's too much on PC, maybe 10, 12, 15 bucks, I don't know. But yeah, it lets you get out your aggressions.
Yeah, the visual style of it at some points reminds me of Animal Well, the one from Video Game Donkeys.
Okay. Yeah.
Company.
Similar in, style. Yeah.
So the one thing I was wondering about when I was watching the trailer, with like the arms that are navigating, as you're navigating through the level, these octopus arms or whatever you want to call them are like reaching out and doing things. And I'm wondering, like, how much of that is like happening automatically? Like, is there a lot of control you have over that, or do they just kind of do their own thing when you get close to stuff?
Yeah, when you're walking, they'll walk for you, basically. You're just like kind of hovering in the air. But you have pretty much just like one main arm that you can control that like will grab people or things, and that'll reach out like half the screen. You could reach out from super far away to kind of, work the corners of stuff, grab people and bring them down, throw people into other people. So yeah, it's a really fun idea. It's got a lot of like Celeste vibes too, as far as like the platforming and the style of it. So if you're a fan of that, but also want to just kill people, this is the game. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. If you look at it and you like the style and like Hotline Miami or something like that, where it's just like, this over the top like pixel gore, it's fun. And then the other one, this is a game that's been out on PC and just came out on console, and I just got it on the PlayStation 5. It's called Is This Game Trying to Kill Me? And the premise for this I was instantly drawn into it because it reminds me a lot of Inscription, which is one of my favorite games of all time. You're in a shack, and there's a game within a game, much like Inscription, but in this time it's like a computer game. So it's this 2D computer game that you play, and a lot of what's in that computer game kind of you see in this shack around you, in this 3D world that you're in. It's like a first-person game, and there's just all these puzzles you have to solve. Like you solve something inside the game and it like comes out in real life. But same thing for like the traps. You find a trap in the game and you're gonna get killed in the shack. It is such a well-made game. Like the tightness of like the puzzles and how everything works so well with one another. I was shocked. It's a short game. I think you could get done, depending on how good you are at puzzles, 3 hours, 4 hours. But the story is cool, and it's some of the most fun I've had in a puzzle game in a long time. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about this one for. I wish it was longer. Like that's my only thing. I wish it was longer. Maybe they'll add like DLC or something to it, but this is one that like absolutely I'll be talking about for a long time because I thought it was very, very well made and really, really interesting. So yeah, give it a try if you. I mean, again, it's been out on PCs for like I don't know over a year, I think. So it should probably be on sale there if you ever wanted to check it out. But yeah, the console one, I think it's on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. So it is available everywhere now. So
nice. Yeah, these
yeah.
These meta puzzle games are sort of becoming their own genre, and I can't even remember the name of the really good one that everybody compares all the other ones to, but there are a lot of clones, and few of them actually end up doing it well. So it's good to hear that this one's pretty good, worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep looking at my cadre of drinks here, and I never know which one to go to, and it's causing me to lose track of what's happening sometimes. And I'm just like, do I want the cold coffee? No, do I want this? It's too much. It's too much. Remind me for next show
together.
Not to have.
Make a cocktail real quick of hot coffee.
Yes. And grapefruit Spindrift. I don't know about this. So yeah, that is it for our new releases and games that I've played this week. Next week is I don't know how I'm gonna fit everything in because there's tons of games like South of Midnight comes out on the 8th, and then the next day Blueprints comes out, and then I think the very next day Promise Mascot Academy comes out, or Agency, whatever it is. All games that I've been that are very much at the top of my things that I'm looking forward to. So it's going to be a lot, dude.
Yeah, I mean, news-wise, people are probably going to be killed and layoffs, thousands of layoffs.
Exactly.
Just to make up for this.
Exactly. Yes, perfect. Let's not will that to happen. Now they're going to blame us if all these, yeah. All right, but enough about all this bullshit. That is not why you're here. You're here for the news of the week. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened, and we got all the information. They gave us everything, and some of it good, some of it bad, some of it worse than I expected. Before we even say anything about anything, did you watch the whole thing?
No, I did not watch that whole thing. I watched chopped down versions of it, so there may be some
you just saw
in between.
Okay, I watched the whole thing, dude, because I care about the news. No, you did the smart thing. Okay, I want to hear, before we get into any details, just what is your I want a vague thought on maybe like a 2-word thing about how you feel about the Nintendo Switch 2.
Just buy it.
Are they paying you? Is Nintendo, they get in your pants? Yeah, my word, disappointed. That's where I'm gonna go on this one. I was a little disappointed, and we'll get into why. Okay, let's start off with the big thing: the price, the date. So the price $449.99 American dollarinos for the base model, $499 for the one that includes Mario Kart World. Right there. Give me the full clip take on the price.
I don't know what to compare it to. I mean, we can compare it to like a Steam Deck or some other handheld like that, but it doesn't matter. That's why my 2-word sentence is like, just buy it, because everybody's just gonna buy it. You don't have another opportunity to get a Nintendo system and all the games that are gonna come out for this. You have no option.
No, dude. You don't, and that's where they got us, man, because like it's like as much as I hate that it's over $400, and as much as I hate the pricing of the games, which we'll get into, I can't play Mario Kart World anywhere else. I can't play Donkey Kong Bananza anywhere else. And they got us, dude. They know they got us, too. And that's where I'm like, God damn you, Nintendo. You fucking, like, like, this is the first time they're really taking advantage of the fact that they're like, what are they going to do?
Right.
Okay. More deets. Comes out June 5th, 2025, with pre-orders set to begin. So this is a whole nother thing. Let's get into it. All right. Pulling up the sleeves for this one. Pre-orders were supposed to start in America April 9th. And I like the way they're doing the pre-order thing. They're going to be putting out invitations for certain people if like they look at your people that have the Nintendo Switch online and have played a certain number of hours on the Nintendo Switch. You get priority and you can pre-order earlier, like a week earlier. And I think that's cool. A good way to get away from the scalpers. You take care of the people that are true fans of your system. I love that idea. So, but now we've been delayed. And the reason for the delay is tariffs. The word of the week seems to be tariffs. And let's go back. Let's have an I told you so moment. Let's go back in time to a previous episode of Gaming News Weekly where we talked about how the cost of these, specifically I think we said in the Nintendo Switch 2, is going to be dependent on these tariffs. And all these people online were like, bullshit, tariffs are good, you don't know shit. And I'm just like, just wait and watch. And now we're at the fuck around and find out part of the show where like we're learning that the price of video games, consoles, discs, all this stuff, chips, is going to be higher because of Donald Trump's tariffs. So, that being said, they are delaying the kickoff of the pre-orders. Nintendo issued the statement. Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start April 9th in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th is unchanged. So, we don't know when pre-orders start. They're starting everywhere else in the world on the April 9th, just not in America. So, I don't know what that means for us getting consoles, that sort of thing. But what is your take on this whole thing?
Yeah, I'm a little confused by it. I'm not sure why it has to be delayed. Is it a pricing thing? And if so, why did they just announce the price to us in USD?
Yeah. So I think as I was looking into more and more of it, part of it was Nintendo, knowing that the tariffs were coming and a lot of the product is built in China. Some is built in Japan. They, knowing that there was going to be tariffs imposed on China, they moved some of the manufacturing to Vietnam. And then Vietnam got hit also with tariffs that were unexpected. Because Donald Trump's like the Oprah of tariffs. You get a tariff. You get a tariff. Just throwing them out everywhere. So I think that, because it was very last minute and unexpected, is throwing a wrench into the works. That's what some of the people out there are speculating. So I think it's just we'll see how this impacts the economy of certain places and, what it does for the cost of everything. So we'll see. I don't know what it means, but I'm hoping. I don't think they can do a price. I don't think they could go any higher, dude. You can't go. $4.99 for the base system.
Right. Because, I mean,
So,
it is already rough.
Yeah, if anything, Nintendo's going to have to eat the product of the tariffs and have a loss on what they expected as far as, because already people are up in arms about the cost of both the system and the games.
Yeah.
Not the true Nintendo fanboys, they'll support everything. And like you said, there's no options. For the Nintendo fanboys, they don't have any options. For people that are on the fence about, do I want a PlayStation 5? Do I want a Nintendo Switch 2? Now that the PS5 is cheaper, then it creates a lot more difficult choices. Yeah. So
now the pricing of the games, that's a different story, and I don't say just buy it. I mean, I will do without plenty of games if it means that hopefully they'll lower those prices back down a little bit. I just apply that to the console because it's just a one-time purchase, and I get it. I'm cheap and sometimes broke, and I don't want to spend $450 on the console. But if I want it, at the end of the day, I'm going to save up for it or do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Right.
And that's what everybody's going to do, despite all the yapping right now about the price on it. But if it goes up any higher, I don't know about that. And then when it comes to the individual games, if we're talking like $80 per Switch game, I don't see that as being worth it.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the game. So this is where I was disappointed in the showcase. We only saw a few first-party games. We saw Mario Kart World, which looks amazing. It's an open-world Mario Kart game that you could just go and explore if you want, or race with your friends. Donkey Kong Bananza, which is a platformer, 3D platformer. Looks really cool in that you can just destroy basically any of the environments. It's all destructible. Very cool. And then we got a tease for Kirby Air Riders, which is interesting because that is going to be done by, it's a racing game, but it's going to be done by Sakurai, who did Smash Brothers. So a lot of exciting things about that. But the cost. So a digital version of the games will be $80. $90 for a physical copy of them. Which to me, man, this is I think it goes along with what you said. They know they got us. They're like, these people, if they want to play Mario Kart, they're going to have to suck it up and pay the $80, $90 to play it because they can't play it on PC where it'll be cheaper. So I think that's, I don't know. Do you think it's them testing the market? Do you think can you ever foresee a world in which there's so much pushback that they lower the price of those, or do you think that's it?
I think they're just going to do what they're going to do. I mean, we can scream and kick our feet at it, but I don't know. I don't know that this is the result of tariffs that are raising the price on this. I really don't know. When it comes to digital goods sold,
this is just,
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for a while, ever since there were rumors that GTA 6 is going to be $100. And I think this is just part of that. I think there's just, like you said, we see all the layoffs happening all the time. The industry is in rough shape. And they're thinking that, this is our way to, make more money, take more money back from this industry. I don't know if there's, can we not buy these games and, vote with our wallets and say we don't want to pay $80, $90 a game.
Right. It takes a concerted
I don't know what
effort.
you're going to be playing with the Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be... We need everybody to be like, no, this is too much. It's so... I don't know. That's you're talking... you could buy... I'm a big indie game fan. So, when I look at the cost of $90 for a Donkey Kong game, dude, I could buy 10 indie games for that, or 3 AA games. It's just I don't know if the value is there. I know it's a Nintendo game, and they're like, this is, whatever. This is Nintendo. We do what we want to do. But for that, it's crazy. The whole direct to me was just give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money. Because even then they announced the there's going to be Nintendo Switch 2 versions of other games. And I was like, oh, that's cool, But then they started listing them. So they got Metroid Prime 4 is going to have a Nintendo Switch 2 version. Pokemon Legends Z to A, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Those all have special Nintendo Switch versions. Now, there's some of those that they are adding new content. Now, the price for, again, speculation. We don't know the exact pricing on these, but with almost assured, we're almost certain that the price on these is that $10 extra for the upgraded versions. So if you want the Nintendo or like the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or whatever, an additional $10 if there's no extra content. And then they're saying additional $20 if there is extra content. Like Kirby and the Forgotten Land is adding a whole DLC called the Star-Crossed World, which looks awesome. But now you're back up to $80 for that game. So if you want that game and don't have it, it's $80. If you have it already, you're just paying an extra $20 for it to work on the Switch 2 and to have that extra content, which is all right. But I'm trying to remember, like PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, I feel like so many of those were like free upgrades, you know, or $5. I don't remember them being like this pay for, you know, to have like a better looking game as much. And now I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, definitely people let me know. But I'm trying to remember. Like I feel like a lot of those were just like, here's a free upgrade.
Right. And I think it's like, it's always appreciated when the good guy developers in the industry do that. I mean, CD Projekt Red did it with Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky. They've been giving away the upgraded versions and things like that. So that's always appreciated. I don't know that we should expect that, though. If there is like work and development time put into the higher versions, I guess I'm okay with paying $5 or $10 for the upgrade. But only Nintendo would still have their 10-year-old games at like $60 right now. And that's the only reason they can justify the new version being $80.
That's the hard part. You're absolutely right. Yeah, when it's like these prices aren't going down, and then when they're just going up, like, yeah, Kirby, that's an old game. Now, I get, having DLC, but for the people that have not bought the game to come in fresh, you know, this is a 2-year-old game and you're paying $80 for it right off the bat. Like, that's crazy. So, yeah, there's a lot that I didn't love about the pricing and that sort of thing. But there's some stuff we left out about the actual Switch. So let's go back through. So let's talk first about what it does. I was blown away when they're saying 1080p, first of all, which is fantastic on the handheld, but then docked 4K 120 frames per second, which I was shocked that they're doing it, you know? And then 256 gigabytes of storage. Could go a little bigger, especially if you're going to be having like these 4K games on there now. Like you can put Call of Duty on there. That's 250 gigs right there. You have one game on your Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little skeptical of these numbers. For a $450 console, even, is it going to be able to do 4K 120, or are we talking about that's your Netflix resolution?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on, are these games going to be made for, like, you know, do you need, like, Donkey Kong's not going to be 120 frames per second. You know, what, like, Call of Duty, I could see, like, if they're going to put that on there, that's going to be the one, you know? But then, like, how difficult is it going to be to do? I did see an article saying that the developers are really, really happy with the specs of the Switch 2 because the parity between the consoles is so much closer now. We're going to be seeing a lot more games that we've saw on the current gen consoles showing up on the Switch 2, which we saw showcased in the Direct. We saw a lot of older games coming to Switch 2. So I think that's good. I'm interested to see how they play. Yeah, absolutely. The dock it is cool. It has like a fan built in. So, you know, for when it is reaching for that power and trying to get that, it will be cool. And, yeah, well, I'm interested to see, you know, how it looks, what the output is. Some other features, they do the Switch, the Joy-Cons, so they snap off. They got magnets in them now, and they do have mouse controls. So you can play a game like they showed Metroid Prime 4, you like keyboard and mouse style controls for that game if you so choose. They also showed a game which, in my opinion, it looked awful. The wheelchair basketball game. Did you see that? Where they're like doing the mice to do your wheelchair, and then you got to stop, catch the ball, and like throw it. It looked terrible. But I don't know. That's just me.
It seems like a game just to show off that gimmick and not the best game to do that.
And who sits at a table playing if I have a Nintendo Switch, the whole point of that is I'm sitting on my couch, on my toilet, whatever, I'm not sitting at a table doing little wheelie mice things. Can I do it on my legs? Maybe if I did it on my legs, it would work. I don't know.
That's kind of my thought about these mice in the first place, because you'd have to be in a very particular position if you wanted to have like your Switch docked, use that mouse to be able to just navigate the menus and things like that, or navigating through Netflix or YouTube.
Yeah, you need like a tray, like a table in front of you, like a TV tray. So yeah, it's got the mice that they're in there. There's also a new button, the C button, which a lot of speculation about. Now that is just the chat button, which is it's a feature. Finally, Nintendo has moved up to 2009 with their multiplayer stuff. So they've got game chat now, and you hit the C button on there, and you can chat with all your friends. You do need to have the Nintendo Switch online service, so it is a paid service to do the game chat, and the microphone is in the it's in the dock, or no, wait, the speaker's in the controller, right? So you hear your friends come out of the controller, and then if you're playing with it docked, like if you're playing with your system docked, the microphone is still in that dock, but it's supposed to be able to pick up your sound from like anywhere. Even they showed like a guy using like a blender behind him, and it was like still picking up the guy's sound, and I'm just like, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know.
I can believe that because I use like the Google Home products, and they're very, very compact, yet the microphones in those can pick you up from outside.
Really? Oh, interesting. All right. Yeah, I was impressed by this idea. I was like, okay, yeah, you got to have the microphone right in front of you or something, right? But the controllers, so they also showed off the Pro Controller, which does have a headphone jack. So I'm assuming you could just, wear regular headphones and play things that way as well. They also showed off a new camera. So this is another gimmick that they're doing. They got the Switch 2 camera, $49.99. It's this ridiculous looking camera, like on a pole that sits in front of your television. Now for this one, they showed off a lot, like people playing Mario Party together or Mario Kart. So you could do it with people. If you're playing online with people, their picture will show up on the screen, or even their video. And it was the shit that they showed was like this really like laggy like video. I'm like, why is this what you're showing for the direct? Like it was like the slowest videos for these. But a cool thing that I thought was interesting, that if you have a camera and you're playing, say you got 4 people in your room playing Mario Party, it will differentiate each one of their faces in the room through one camera and post their pictures on there. And I like the gimmick. I think that would be fun. It includes it as part of like some of the mini games in Mario Party, or it shows your character on the screen in Mario Kart and that sort of thing. So I think it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
I don't know the demographic for that. I guess like younger kids who like aren't into like Twitch streaming or something. Yeah, it's like, whatever. I don't know.
I think it'd be really cool for like party games. But I mean, they're not going to make a Jackbox game just for Switch 2. I don't think.
It's true.
So who's going to make them, and what are they going to be like? Are they going to be worth playing? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is a thing that's out there. We'll see. I do want to see more of that in the real world. And if it is as laggy as it was shown, the quality of the video, like that you're seeing in real time. Because I mean, at one point there were 4 videos of people on the screen with your gameplay playing in the background, and it was like, oh, I mean, if it could do it, great, but it'd be interesting to see more about that.
Right.
So
if they actually if they pull it off, if they create something here that's worth playing, that'd be, we used to have iToy on PlayStation, we used to have Kinect on Xbox, and now I don't think anybody really pays any attention to those because it's failed time and time again. So if Nintendo pulls it off, well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot of shit about them before, like with their motion controls and that sort of thing. And like the Wii was always popular, and I mean, everything, all the gimmicks that they do, they always manage to put something out there, like a Wii Sports or something that draws in people like your grandparents or younger kids that aren't necessarily gamers, but they're like, oh, I could do that in this game. So yeah, we can never ever, completely write them off. They'll always come up with something. But before we get into some of the games, what are your thoughts on the system?
I didn't really look that closely into the specs of it because I just don't. It's the kind of thing where when some killer game comes out, like the next Animal Crossing, we're going to be buying one of these systems. I'm not going to go out of my way to grab one, so I didn't look that closely into like the specs and pay too much attention. I was interested to see like what's the C button, how do the mice work, and things like that. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a step up from the Switch, just in my opinion, not one that I've got to run out and get.
Okay. Yeah, I entirely agree with that. As I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm not. So my wife, her Switch, it's on its last legs. Like she uses it quite a bit. And I kept saying, like, when the Switch 2 comes out, maybe we'll, get you a new one or whatever. And then, we see the price point, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's tough because my son. So this is the problem, and this goes back to what you talked about. They have me because my son, if they come out with a new Kirby game or a new Yoshi game or a new Mario game, my kid's going to be like, how come I can't play this game on my Switch? And then I'm going to have to either tell him to shut up or, most likely shell out $450 for friggin' Switch 2 because I'm a sucker. But, yeah, I'm in the boat. Like, I'm interested anytime a new console, anytime anything new is released. I'm super interested to see how it does, see what games. But there were no killer games that came out for me. Maybe one that I was like, I have to have this system. So We'll see. We're gonna wait. We're gonna see if my wife's Switch. If it dies, then when June comes around, maybe we'll get in on that. But yeah, like we talked about Mario Kart World, that's going to be at release, and then there's really not many games. Like so, the Donkey Kong Bananza game that comes out July 17th, so that's a month after launch. Kirby Air Riders, that one we don't have a date, don't have anything, but they're saying 2025 for that one. And then it's more like these older games. So the Breath of the Wild, I believe that should be a launch game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that new version doesn't even come out until August. Like, it's weird, dude. It's the launch date is so barren of things to play,
right?
That I don't even know like what. It's just Mario Kart, really. So
right.
I don't know. There's even a game like, did you see the tour? Like it's like an informative game about the Nintendo Switch 2, which like should have been the pack-in game. Yes, and I'm like, oh, this is like the pack-in. This is like the Astro Bot or whatever. Like, and you have to pay for it. I think it's gonna be like $20, and it looks terrible.
Yeah, that part's crazy.
It does not look fun at all. It's like literally you're asking like, what are these speakers? And they're like, well, this is, this is this. And I'm just like, what? I couldn't believe it. All right, but let's get into some of the third-party games because there's one thing I really have been dying to talk about. They showed off, and so I'm watching this direct, and I'm like, wow, this looks great. This looks great. What is this, a Castlevania game? I don't know, man. I'm like, it kind of looks like Bloodborne. And then I see From Software, and I'm like, they're not making Bloodborne 2 or whatever, right? And then they show all this stuff. I'm like, this is a From Soft game, and it looks amazing. And it's a game called The Duskbloods, and it's coming out in 2026, and it's a friggin' Nintendo Switch exclusive From Software game. Like, what is this world that we're living in?
Right.
So I'm like, shit, I gotta so, I have until 2026 to get this so I could play what looks like a spiritual successor to Bloodborne. Then soon after that, I'm finding out that it is a PvP VE game. My excitement went down quite a bit after I did read that, but it looks phenomenal. So I was shocked. Did you see that trailer?
Yeah. And are we sure that this game is like only ever going to be on the Switch 2, or is it just launching there and
I don't know,
come to PlayStation?
It said coming exclusively to Nintendo Switch 2. Now I don't know if it's a timed exclusive. I looked for anything I could find to find out any information, and there was nothing. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy though.
Yeah. Like you said, like sort of a blank slate as soon as the console releases. So it's going to be a while before anything good comes out on it. And that's another reason I feel like we don't really have to worry about scalpers. We don't really have to worry about rushing out to get this while it's full price. Maybe over a year or so, it drops $50 here or there. Be a little more affordable by the time it's actually worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Like, we'll see. Yeah, maybe there will be. I don't know. I was going to say maybe there'll be sales. Nintendo never puts any of their stuff on sale. Never like drops the price of anything. But yeah, in this situation, when it is this unprecedented high for these games, maybe they'll realize this isn't working. Or maybe retailers will be like, this isn't working. Let's, do a sale or whatever and make them cheaper. So, yeah, I don't know. Then they did like a whole like sizzle reel showing off all these other games, older games that have been out that are going to be on the Switch 2. Ton of games. Split Fiction, Cyberpunk, Civ 7, Tony Hawk game, Enter the Gungeon 2, Kunitsugami. I mean, there's just a ton. I don't know, a bunch of games. So, and again, not many available at launch. I think like Fortnite, I saw that was available at launch. One thing we do need to mention, they quickly, in the sizzle reel, Hollow Knight Silksong coming 2025. That's all they got. So I don't know, man. Silksong, still happening, but I don't know when. So,
Has
there been a
report of Skyrim coming out on this yet?
Oh, I know. That was not listed. I'm shocked that it was not listed. It'll be there. It will be there, absolutely. The Switch 2 version. It'll be
special
$70.
edition.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the Switch 2. Just overall, I was disappointed. I thought every time they did something, it was give us more money. Like just when they showed that pack-in game that said like, well, these are held on by magnets, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a fun free game for people. And they're like, paid game. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? Old Nintendo would have thrown that in there. But, we had Duck Hunt back in the day. That was free in the game.
Mario, one of the greatest games of all time, Mario and Duck Hunt. And sometimes you'd even get a third game on there with that track and field.
Yeah, exactly. And then even like, I think, did Super Nintendo, that come and packed in? That had like Super Mario Land, I think, with it, right?
I think so.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to me that I don't think anybody's going to buy that friggin' game. I think it's going to probably be like $20. No one's going to buy that to read about the system.
Yeah.
The thing you're playing.
It should already be installed on the console, like when you get it out of the box.
Yeah. Yep. So, Elden Ring. They did show off Elden Ring, the Tarnished editions coming in 2025. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's a nice jump in power, what the system can do. I'm sure it's going to look great. I think it's probably going to be awesome. It's going to be I mean, this first Switch is a great console, still is underpowered, but for what it can do, it's such a great console. Now with the next version, I'm sure the Joy-Cons are going to be better. Hopefully, no stick drift, which is a big issue with the last one. It's much more powerful, bigger screen. Everything is better on it, but the pricing of the games and the pricing of the consoles is going to be the thing that I think scares a lot of people away. So only time will tell. We'll see more. Hopefully we'll have more information about the pre-order thing and what else is going to be coming out during the launch window come June. Because I do think they need something else. One other thing, maybe even if it's, Hollow Knight. Put Hollow Knight out, make a big announcement at like another Direct. Hollow Knight's going to be, even that. You give it a little Switch exclusive. I know that's going to be a Game Pass game, so I don't know how that works. I don't know the business behind who gets these games when. But yeah. So yeah, we did it. We talked all about the Nintendo Switch 2. Did we leave anything out? We covered everything.
Yeah, I think that's
I still have 2 drinks left.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I finished my hot coffee. Now I have this cold coffee and this other water drink. So
we can keep going. Let's drum up some news.
All right, what else we got? What's Will thinks to happen?
Yes.
Bloodborne 2 announced, and Eric gets to play it first. Oh yeah.
Ubisoft Tower collapses.
They have a tower?
They do. I think. They did before it collapsed.
Before it collapsed.
Under the weight of the CEO's hubris.
Yes, he would have a tower, like just like a villain, like a megalomaniacal maniac, just with a big tower. He's standing on top of it, looking down on all the world. Yves Guillemot, how dare you? All right. Well, I'm done. I'm done talking about this. You gonna go play games after this?
Ooh, I don't know yet. Maybe. You just gave me a key. Spoiler alert for next episode. Used Cars Simulator, which I'm looking forward to getting into. So maybe I'll try that out.
That looks good. It looks good, man. I'm excited to hear your impressions of it because it's got everything that you like. It's got like that, you fix up the cars, but then the racing looks actually decent and stuff like that, and the customizing, and it's all like from stolen. I think they're all like stolen cars that you gotta like, I'm excited to hear it. That comes out next week as well. Yeah, next week's a big week for new releases, man. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. Even if there is no like big news next week, we can just talk about the games we've been playing because there is a lot.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, let's pack it in then. If there's anything we left out about the Nintendo Switch 2, let us know. Leave a comment. Tell us what your thoughts are. If you're picking it up, yeah, I want to know. I want to know everything. And check us out on our socials. TikTok, Blue Sky. We're posting stuff over there. YouTube is where we're at. Pop Culture Playground is the name of the channel. You'll find this show there every Monday, complete with game trailers attached and our smiling faces. Or if that's not your thing, podcasts. Just type in GNW anywhere podcasts are found, and you'll find this show. Make sure you subscribe. That way it'll just be ready to go, and you'll have it. You can listen to it and just nod your head in agreement the entire time. You're like, man, these guys, you know their shit. You know everything about everything. And that's it. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thanks so much. We will see you next week. More video game news.